The streets deserted. JW, carrying Caden nestled in his jacket, burst out onto the quiet street. His legs moved with surprising speed, each step a powerful spring. His footsteps echoed in the stillness. "Not bad," Caden commented, a hint of grudging admiration in his voice. "Just like when you fought the monster cat." "I'm sure my awakened speed ability will develop soon," JW said, a touch of pride in his voice. He looked at Caden, a question in his eyes. "But what other abilities were you talking about earlier?" Caden explained, "Any part of your body involved in your movement will develop. Your nervous system, cognitive abilities. You've been passively developing these all along. It's not just you. Other Awakened not only strengthen their bodies, but also develop related abilities." "Got it," JW said, then turned sharply left as Caden directed. "How much longer can you use your speed?" Caden asked. "I used it earlier," JW replied, his breath coming in short gasps. "But that was hours ago. Maybe 2 seconds? If I use it in short bursts, maybe a little longer." Caden's inner voice was doubtful. 2 seconds? JW continued to run, his voice strained. "Which way now?" "Straight ahead," Caden replied. "How do you know?" JW asked, his confusion evident. "I just know," Caden said, his gaze fixed on the unseen streams of scarlet aura. "If I'm right, that energy is connected to an Awakened, and it feels like that monster cat is running right towards him." A street lamp illuminated a grim scene. Bloody bandages lay scattered on the ground. The monster cat, its white fur matted and stained, limped out from around a corner, its movements sluggish and weak. "That's him," Caden murmured. A figure emerged from the shadows, the gray-haired man from the antenna. He leaned down towards the exhausted cat. "Coming when I called, confirms it." His voice was cold. "What went wrong?" "You're not as I expected, barely able to stand." The cat cowered, fear evident in its wide eyes. "You shouldn't have been able to escape the special cage in this state." Suddenly, a jolt of energy coursed through the monster cat. Images flashed through its mind, the cage, the suffocating feeling, the sickness. And then, this man. The gray-haired man leaned closer, a cruel smile playing on his lips. The fur on the cat's back stood on end. "Threatening me? The seal we placed during the experiment? It must have broken." The monster cat growled and hissed weakly. "Looks like you've gotten stronger," the man mused. "I knew you would awaken." "It's there," JW whispered, peering around the corner. "Stop," Caden hissed, pulling the boy back. They huddled behind a wall. JW peeked out. "What's wrong? The cat we're looking for is right there." "Don't you see him?" Caden retorted, his voice sharp. "That man?" JW's eyes widened. "That Awakened?" Caden's expression was dark. "Don't even think about going over there, especially not when your opponent is Awakened, and there's a connection between him and that cat, that energy. It was a summoning command." "He's not the one who was chasing me before," Caden realized, his gaze fixed on the gray-haired man. "He's here because of the monster cat, using his abilities like this." The monster cat, driven by instinct or command, lunged at the gray-haired man. The man didn't even flinch. He closed his eyes, raising a hand, and stopped the cat mid-air. The creature slammed into a nearby wall. "I knew killing you wouldn't be enough," the man said, his voice devoid of emotion, watching the drool drip from the cat's fangs. The monster cat, weakened but desperate, attacked again. The man's eyes flashed. Scarlet energy flared around the feline, pinning it against the wall once more. "Will you survive this time?" the man murmured, raising his hand again. "Get up," he commanded. JW watched the brutal scene, his face pale with fear. "He's incredibly skilled," Caden said, his voice grim. "Look at his small hand movements, full control of his powers. Judging by what he's doing to the cat, he's a psychokinetic." The gray-haired man cursed under his breath. "Is that all you've got?" he asked the whimpering cat. He walked up to the animal, thoughtfully rubbing his chin. "Physically superior to an ordinary cat, yes, but still lacking. This is the limit of your awakened potential." The cat growled weakly. "Still conscious?" the man noted with a hint of surprise. JW pulled his cap down, crouching low. "I don't understand what's happening, but I have to save that cat. It's still recovering from our fight." Don't be an idiot, Caden snapped, his voice filled with exasperation. That man is awakened. You think this will be like the cap? JW's voice was strained but resolute. No, but being awakened doesn't give him the right to do this. Naive, Caden hissed. What can you possibly do? You think he'll just let you walk away after you've saved the cat? JW looked away nervously. What if he decides to follow us? You really think you can win a fight like this? Caden turned away towards the alley where they were hiding. He's lived his whole life without knowing about the awakened. Now that he does, he still doesn't understand. Maybe defeating that monster cat, or tiger, whatever it was, gave him some false sense of confidence. Fighting an awakened is a different ballgame. He can't win this. He needs to accept it. The boy remained silent. Caden watched angrily as the gray-haired man approached the barely conscious cat. You shouldn't even have the strength to growl, he said coldly. The monster cat let out a weak, defiant sound. Why aren't you running? The man sneered. Trying to scare me? That's irritating. The cat began to crawl away. The silver-haired man smirked. You won't escape. He unleashed his power again, yanking the cat back towards him. The air shimmered. The cat landed with a sickening thud, utterly exhausted. The experiment showed more promise, the man said, his voice clinical. But the result is a success nonetheless. Time to collect the sample. JW couldn't comprehend it. How could that man treat a living creature so terribly? I'm going to save him, he declared to Caden, his voice firm, with my own strength. Caden's anger flared. The boy wasn't listening. JW pulled his cap low. I'm not trying to fight him, he insisted. Just save the cat. You might be fast, kid, Caden retorted, his voice laced with exasperation. But that man is awakened. Their perceptions aren't like ordinary people's. He'll see you, even with your speed. JW looked at the cat, his eyes filled with a surprising humility. I know you're angry, he apologized, because you're worried about me. Caden scoffed at the suggestion, but JW pressed on. Maybe my powers are useless, and maybe I'll get hurt, but I have to save him. Caden stared at the boy, a flicker of surprise in his feline eyes. JW moved, a blur of motion. Caden watched from his hidden vantage point, a mixture of exasperation and grudging admiration. He's not very smart, is he? But as he watched the psychokinetic approach the injured cat, a plan formed in Caden's mind. JW would have to create a distraction, make the man turn away. It meant using his speed, and that meant he wouldn't be able to escape. The gray-haired man was almost at the cat's side when he froze. JW had materialized in front of him, the injured feline cradled in his arms. The man stared, bewildered. Where did this child come from? His confusion quickly turned to cold fury. How dare he try to steal my experiment's target? He lashed out with his power, striking the spot where the boy and cat had been moments before. Empty air. The white-haired man spun around searching. Where did he go? He was just right there. He pressed a hand to his temple. A bloodhound. I shouldn't have used my powers like that. Who would have thought they'd find me so quickly? He muttered to himself. I have to get out of here before the others show up. The street was empty, a heavy silence hanging in the air. Caden padded quickly, his paws making soft thuds on the pavement. JW beamed. We did it, he exclaimed. Did what? Caden snapped, his voice tight with anger. We did nothing. Now that man knows about me. Do you have any idea how much danger we're in? JW looked down at the injured cat, now wrapped securely in his jacket, a happy, self-satisfied smile on his face. I couldn't just leave him there. Caden fumed. JW blushed. I had to try. I couldn't just leave him. Caden stared, surprised by the boy's unwavering resolve. He's hopeless, Caden thought, but a grudging respect flickered within him. We actually did it, right in front of that man. And his speed, it was faster than I expected. JW looked out at the quiet street, a genuine smile spreading across his face. It's strange, he said, his voice filled with an almost childlike wonder. But I'm so excited. Caden, bewildered, asked what he was talking about. Today, JW explained, I realized that the powers I tried to hide, they're not so bad. As soon as I realized that, I was able to make a decision. To do something. He looked up at the sky, a sense of awe in his voice. "It's amazing!" Caden's annoyance returned. "Just shut up and don't admire it." In a different room, a man slammed his fist on a table, cursing under his breath. He leaned over, unable to believe it. "My test subject, stolen, an important specimen." He turned to a younger man, his face contorted with rage. "I thought the bloodhounds came for him, the escaped specimen. It might have been successful, but the bloodhounds stole it before I could bring it back and verify it. We have to leave, now, before we get caught. But we can't leave without the specimen. We'll use the data we've collected here as a starting point. From now on, be careful." The young boy nodded, his face grim. Caden placed his paw gently on the injured cat's body. A faint blue glow emanated from beneath his paw. JW watched from a nearby chair, his brows furrowed with concern. Caden removed his paw. "Everything okay?" JW asked. Caden, settling onto the sofa, explained, "He's very tired, but his life isn't in danger." JW sighed in relief, stroking the gray cat's ear. "After all that, it should have been much worse." Caden explained, "A normal cat would have died, but an awakened animal. He's strong enough to endure those blows." JW stroked the cat's nose. "This kitten, he's awakened too?" "Yes," Caden affirmed. JW smiled. "Awakened felines, then. More appropriate than just awakened creatures." Caden, his eyebrows knitted in thought, speculated. "He might not be fully awakened. We'd need to examine him properly." Caden, resting his muzzle on his paw, was surprised. Someone other than a human can be awakened? He remembered the past, the experiments on animals. Could he have been awakened during one of those? He thought of the gray-haired man, this whole situation. It might be connected to him. He looked at JW, a grim realization settling in. "We're in a very dangerous situation." "What's wrong?" JW asked, seeing the troubled look on Caden's face. "You don't look well?" Caden smacked him lightly on the head. "I'm fine. You're the one who made things difficult by getting in the way of an awakened." JW put a hand to his head. "I couldn't just leave him. He would have died." Caden opened his mouth, a frustrated cry escaping. "Our problem isn't that we saved the cat. It's that we ran away from an awakened after saving the cat." He bared his fangs. "That crazy old man will definitely come here." JW's eyes widened in shock. He scratched his head. "The stranger? He really could come here? But saving an animal? That's not a reason to pursue someone, is it?" Caden raised his eyebrows in disbelief. He doesn't even understand what happened. Forced awakening experiments were one of the world's greatest taboos. Those psychokinetics, they wouldn't leave living witnesses, not with physical proof of their experiments. JW tapped his fingers together nervously, looking away. Caden knew they would kill everyone involved to keep the secret. This all happened to a boy who, until recently, knew nothing about the awakened. Caden squinted, considering. Should he explain everything in detail? He looked up, then decided against it. Number? It wouldn't change anything. It was better to let him remain an ordinary person. The two looked in different directions, avoiding eye contact. JW finally looked at Caden. "I'm sorry," he said, his voice soft, "for being too willful, for upsetting you." Caden rose on his hind legs, his voice sharp. "You think I'm worried about you?" He pointed a paw forward. "I'm in this state because I have to solve other people's problems, not because I'm worried about someone's life. Is that clear now?" JW straightened up, nodding. Caden slumped onto the couch, exhaustion seeping into his bones. "Just be careful," he warned. "It was your actions that made that psychokinetic an enemy. He will come back for what was stolen." JW looked away, scratching his cheek. Caden was surprised at how quickly the boy relaxed. The phone on the table vibrated. JW picked it up, surprised. It was 7 in the morning. He hadn't slept all night, helping the injured animal. Caden watched his friend get dressed. "Where are you going?" he asked. "School," JW replied. Caden's eyes widened in shock. He'd completely forgotten about school. JW poured food into a bowl for the cats, then grabbed his backpack. "I left some food for you guys. Don't forget to eat." He paused and Caden glanced at him, surprised. JW looked back. "What if he wakes up and goes crazy while I'm gone?" Caden looked at the gray cat still sleeping on the couch. "I'll look after him," he promised. "You can leave in peace." The gray cat lay still, not yet strong enough to regain consciousness. During their first meeting, he'd been much weaker. Caden grinned. "Not confident in your victory?" JW clapped his hands, beaming. "You're awesome, Caden." Caden puffed out his chest, bragging about his strength. How many people knew about it? "I wouldn't even talk to someone like a schoolboy," he added. "You're just a fat cat now," JW teased. Caden bristled, his fur standing on end. "Shut up!" JW, hiding behind the door, announced his departure. Caden turned away in irritation. JW peeked out again. "Caden," he called, "will you be here when I get back?" He stepped fully into view. "Please stay here and rest until your strength is fully restored." He ran out the door. "Promise me you'll stay." The click of the door echoed in the sudden silence. Caden's eyes, wide now, watched JW leave, leaving him utterly alone in the apartment. He padded to the window, his reflection staring back. "I made a promise," he thought, a grudging acceptance settling over him. "I suppose I'm staying here for a while." A strange rustling from behind him. Caden turned, a frown deepening on his feline face. From the doorway emerged a parade of disgruntled cats, curious eyes fixed on the unfamiliar ginger figure. They circled him, wary yet intrigued. One bold cat rubbed against his leg. "What in the world?" Caden muttered. Then the black and white cat padded towards the food bowl. "How dare they?" Caden snarled inwardly. "Stealing my food!" The cat sniffed. Suddenly it shuddered. The other cats recoiled, fear in their eyes. Caden, glaring furiously, his pupils narrowed to slits, commanded, "Get out of here!" The strays huddled together, trembling. Caden's fierce gaze softened. He looked away, memories flickering. JW, kneeling, gently explaining how he found the injured cat. They were his saviors. A sigh escaped Caden. He lay down, a resigned acceptance. They could eat his food too. The stray cats crept cautiously to the bowl, darting glances at him, then began to eat, their hunger overriding their fear. They seemed to like the food. Caden narrowed his eyes, a pang of hunger in his own stomach. He spotted a can of cat food on a nearby box. Releasing a claw, Caden contemplated. How could he open this? Then, a sudden realization. "I have sharp claws." In a flash, the can was punctured, then ripped open. A wide grin spread across Caden's feline face, a silent cheer of victory. Instantly, the other cats crept closer, their eyes gleaming with ravenous hunger. The sky outside turned a hazy yellow, signaling dusk. The front door clicked open. "I'm home!" JW called out, kicking off his shoes. His eyebrows shot up in surprise. Cats, everywhere, and empty cans scattered across the floor. He squatted, a puzzled expression on his face. How did they open these? He noticed a faint scratch mark on the side of one can. All of them opened the same way. No one tried to open the lid. He looked around, bewildered. Meanwhile, the well-fed Caden was sound asleep on a pillow.